In the frozen heart of Canada's hockey golden age, one goaltender stood tall against the odds. His story, a riveting blend of glory, grit, and unforeseen tragedy. Discover Bruce George Gamble, the unsung paladin of the NHL's original six era, a left-catching warrior from Ontario's rugged rinks who clashed with icons like Johnny Bower and Terry Sawchuk, claiming All-Star MVP glory and a pivotal spot in a legendary championship run. Yet beneath the ice battles lurked darker shadows, a bold defiance that derailed his prime, a painful cup erasure that haunted him, and a health shock that shattered everything. What drove this silent fighter to disappear after his final save, and what untold secrets emerged from his reclusive years? Unravel the layers of passion, peril, and unyielding spirit in this captivating biography that redefines hockey heroism. Press play to explore Bruce George Gamble's forgotten legacy and why it still resonates today. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more epic sports stories you won't forget. Bruce George Gamble entered the world on May 24, 1938, in Port Arthur, Ontario, a rugged port town hugging the northern shores of Lake Superior, where harsh winters and economic struggles shaped the lives of its residents. Growing up in this working-class enclave, which would later merge with neighboring Fort William to form Thunder Bay, young Bruce was immersed in a world where survival often hinged on grit and community bonds. The late 1930s still echoed the Great Depression's hardships, with unemployment rates that had once soared to 25% in Canada, lingering as a shadow over families dependent on lumber mills, grain elevators, and bustling shipping docks. Winters plunged temperatures well below freezing for months on end, turning frozen lakes and backyard ponds into natural ice rinks that doubled as playgrounds and training grounds. For boys like Bruce, hockey wasn't just a pastime. It was woven into the fabric of daily life, a way to channel energy, build camaraderie, and dream of escaping the cycle of manual labor that defined their fathers' existences. His own family was of modest means, with his father toiling in the shipping industry, navigating the demands of long hours and uncertain work amid the port's ceaseless activity. Community rinks like the Port Arthur Arena became sacred spaces, hosting games that drew fervent crowds hungry for local heroes to lift their spirits. From an early age, Bruce learned to skate on hand-me-down blades, facing off against siblings and neighbors in impromptu matches that taught him the fundamentals of the game: quick reflexes, unyielding focus, and an unspoken code of toughness. Push through pain, never show weakness. This cultural ethos of Northern Ontario manhood, emphasizing endurance and silence in the face of adversity, molded him profoundly, instilling a relentless drive that would propel his hockey career, but also blind him to personal limits, setting the stage for later heartbreaks. Psychologically, this upbringing fostered a deep-seated resilience, where failure on the ice was a lesson in perseverance rather than defeat, but it also created internal tensions, as vulnerability was rarely acknowledged, let alone expressed. As Bruce transitioned into his teenage years, his talent as a goaltender began to emerge, distinguishing him in the junior ranks amid the competitive fervor of Thunder Bay's leagues. Starting in 1953 at age 15, he donned the pads for the Port Arthur Bruins in the Thunder Bay Junior A Hockey League, a circuit known for its physicality and raw intensity. Games often unfolded on uneven ice in frigid, dimly lit arenas, where high shot volumes tested a young goalie's mettle, forcing Bruce to develop not just technical skills, like a sharp glove hand and precise positioning, but also mental fortitude to withstand barrages from older, more aggressive opponents. These early seasons were a crucible, honing his ability to read plays and maintain composure under duress. but they also introduced the psychological weight of performance. Each goal allowed felt like a personal indictment, amplifying the pressure in a community where hockey success was a badge of honor. His breakthrough arrived in the 1955-56 season with the Port Arthur North Stars, where, at just 17, he assumed the role of primary netminder and steered the team to the Memorial Cup, Canada's esteemed junior national championship. In 31 regular season outings, he clocked 1,860 minutes, conceding 97 goals for a 3.13 goals against average, GAA, followed by 9 playoff appearances maintaining a 3.00 GAA over 540 minutes, and 13 grueling cup games with a 4.74 goals against average across 800 minutes. This national exposure pitted him against the country's top junior talents, demanding not only physical stamina, but emotional steadiness amid the tournament's high stakes, where crowds treated matches like sacred rituals. The experience deepened his understanding of teamwork and sacrifice, yet it subtly strained his young body, planting early whispers of the physical toll that relentless competition exacted. Though in an era without advanced medical oversight, such signs went unnoticed. Undaunted by the intensity, Bruce returned to the Memorial Cup the next year with the Guelph Biltmores of the Ontario Hockey Association, a more polished league brimming with future NHL prospects that elevated his game through structured play and fiercer rivalries. In the 1956-57 regular season, he appeared in 40 games, accumulating 2,360 minutes with an impressive 2.59 GAA, 6 shutouts, and 102 goals against. Performances that showcased his growing prowess in blocking shots and orchestrating defenses. Playoffs saw him in 10 contests at a 3.40 GAA, and the Memorial Cup run included 6 appearances with a 4.54 GAA over 370 minutes. This season culminated in OHA first All-Star team recognition, a rare honor for a teenager that highlighted his quick reflexes, positional acumen, and unflappable demeanor under pressure, traits that began to define him as a quiet leader among peers. Teammates from this period remembered his minimal words but maximal reliability, a personality quirk that masked a deeper introversion, perhaps rooted in his upbringing's emphasis on action over expression. His third straight Memorial Cup berth in 1957-58, divided between Guelph, 50 games, 3,000 minutes, 4.10 GAA, 1 shutout, 205 goals against, and the Hull Ottawa Canadiens, Memorial Cup, 13 games, 2.95 GAA, 2 shutouts in 610 minutes, was extraordinary, as few juniors sustained such consistency across national finals. These consecutive appearances built layers of resilience, teaching him to rebound from defeats in environments where fan expectations bordered on religious zeal. However, the cumulative demands, travel, physical hits, and emotional highs and lows began to reveal subtle cracks, foreshadowing how his body might betray him later, though at the time it only fueled his ambition to climb higher. Turning professional in 1958-59, Bruce debuted with the Vancouver Canucks of the Western Hockey League, a minor pro loop that served as a rigorous testing ground for NHL aspirants. He excelled immediately, suiting up for 65 games with 29 wins, 26 losses, 10 ties, a 3.06 GAA, and 7 shutouts, stats that earned him WHL Rookie of the Year and a second All-Star team spot. This dominance blended his junior-honed agility with newfound endurance, but psychologically, it amplified the stakes. Success here was a gateway to the majors, yet failures loomed as potential dead ends. His efforts paid off with a brief NHL call-up to the New York Rangers for 3 games, 0 wins, 3 losses, 3.67 goals against average, .894 save percentage. A tantalizing glimpse that ignited hope but underscored the league's brutality. Claimed by the Boston Bruins in the 1959 intra-league draft, Bruce spent 1959-60 with the Providence Reds in the American Hockey League. 71 games, 37 wins, 32 losses, 2 ties, 3.24 GAA, 4 shutouts, before stepping up as Boston's starter in 1960-61, 52 NHL games, 12 wins, 33 losses, 7 ties, 3.71 GAA, .892 save percentage. The Bruins' perennial struggles as a cellar-dweller team compounded his frustrations, turning solid individual efforts into collective defeats that chipped at his confidence, fostering a sense of isolation in the net where every goal felt amplified. Injuries and inconsistencies led to a nomadic 1961-62. 28 NHL games, 6 wins, 18 losses, 4 ties, 4.32 GAA, 1 shutout, split with time at the Portland Buckaroos, 41 games, 28 wins, 11 losses, 2 ties, 2.62 GAA, 2 shutouts. The pattern continued in 1962-63 with the Kingston Frontenacs in the Eastern Professional Hockey League, where he contributed to a league championship. 68 games, 39 wins, 18 losses, 11 ties, 3.23 GAA, 1 shutout, and 1963-64 with the Springfield Indians, 21 games, 5 wins, 12 losses, 3 ties, 3.90 GAA. A defining nadir hit in 1964-65, refusing a minor league demotion from Boston, he incurred a full season suspension at age 26. A courageous defiance in a player-powerless era that revealed his self-worth but exacted a heavy toll, robbing him of prime development and deepening his resolve against fading into obscurity. Redemption arrived in September 1965 via a trade to the Toronto Maple Leafs for Larry Johnston and Bill Smith, positioning him as backup to Hall of Famers Johnny Bower and Terry Sawchuk. He capitalized on chances, notably in March 1966 with 4 shutouts in 6 games, a streak that converted doubters and affirmed his dependability. 10 NHL games, 5 wins, 2 losses, 3 ties, 2.51 EGAA, 4 shutouts, though the bulk of the year was with the Tulsa Oilers, 54 games, 21 wins, 24 losses, 9 ties, 2.87 GAA, 4 shutouts. Boston sites with founding theaters and media gems, Paramount's The Godfather and Titanic, CBS's 60 Minutes trove, endured via careful stewardship, dodging Vanderbilt extravagance that impoverished descendants by the 1900s. The 2024 National Amusements Paramount stake sale to Skydance for $8 billion, yielding $2.4 billion family net, finalized amid 2025 updates with closure-eyed for early year, showed flexibility against streaming giants like Netflix and Amazon, recalling Rockefeller 1910 sales funding charity while retaining clout. Brent's covert buyout and distancing capture the family's core strains. The 2007 pact, veiled by silence pacts, confirmed the $240 million and exit via quiet channels. A strategic cut to safeguard the realm, it spotlighted personal tolls, a son compensated to fade, tasking Sherry with corporate skirmishes like the 2019 Viacom CBS reunion into Paramount Global and Les Moonves' 2018 exit over Me Too misconduct claims. Dysfunction lingered, detailed in works like 2023's Unscripted by James B. Stewart and Rachel Abrams, exposing Sumner's schemes, Brent's sidelining, and Sherry's endurance from hidden records. Historical parallels heighten intrigue. Brent as a contemporary forsaken successor like Anastasia Romanov, her throne assertions muddled by kin calamity, or his suit as a botched overthrow like Marie Antoinette's court plots, where divided loyalties spelled ruin. Looking back, Brent's uprising laid bare vulnerabilities in the Redstone's climb. From Mickey's Depression-era drive-ins, erected against bias and want, to Sumner's bias-molding worldwide media, they wielded sway over fun, society, and governance. MTV swayed votes via Rock the Vote. CBS upheld reporting norms. But ousting Brent for $240 million exposed dynasty math, authority over blood. The divorce's echoes fractured irreparably. Phyllis faded quietly till 2020. Sumner wed twice more. Paula Fortunato, 2002 to 2009, no third. His Twilight featured health woes and 2016 competency suits, rejected yet underscoring solitude from prior rifts. As Sherry steers beyond 2024, guiding Paramount's digital shift, the tale affirms potent legacies forged at bond costs. Profound scrutiny shows cycles. Mickey's migrant pains bred Sumner's fighter ethos, fueling Brent's ethical defiance. The buyout severed more than ties, it cleaved inheritance. Brent opting calm over command, flourishing in Colorado peace as the empire evolved sans him. This subdued yet lasting segment underscores empires persist via riches and the burdens, chosen or forced, of their architects. The Redstone epic, mingling victory and sorrow, imparts insights on rule, succession, and family fortune equilibrium in U.S. enterprise. Michael Redstone's secret lawsuit against Sumner. Beneath the success of National Amusements in the early 2000s lay simmering family tensions that erupted in 2006 when a lawsuit accused Sumner of systematically undervaluing and manipulating shares in the family business during the 1970s and 1980s. This legal action sought damages estimated at $4.36 billion, exposing allegations of fraud, self-dealing, and breaches of fiduciary duty that threatened to unravel the dynasty. The family, acutely aware of the potential damage to the empire, went to great lengths to minimize publicity, treating the case as an internal matter rather than a public spectacle. This approach succeeded in keeping much of the saga out of the headlines, but the underlying conflicts revealed deep fractures bound by wealth, yet divided by ambition and perceived injustices. The roots of the lawsuit trace back to the foundational structure of the family fortune. National Amusements, originally Northeast Theater Corporation, was established in the 1930s. By the 1950s, it had grown into a thriving drive-in theater business, and in 1959, irrevocable trusts were set up to distribute shares among the grandchildren. These trusts held half of the company's 300 shares, 150 shares total, for the benefit of 4 grandchildren, positioning each to inherit an equal portion and reflecting a vision of family unity and legacy preservation. However, as leadership consolidated through aggressive expansions and acquisitions, these trusts became flashpoints for contention. The first major event cited in the 2006 lawsuit occurred in 1972 amid internal family strife. That year followed a lawsuit over control and valuation issues within National Amusements. The settlement drastically altered the trust structures. According to court documents from the 2006 filing, the agreement reduced the shares allocated to certain trusts from 50 to 33 and 1/3 shares each. Unilateral authority was granted to approve the repurchase of these shares by National Amusements. Nonetheless, tenacity's charm radiated. Old-timers' coalitions reawakened fervor, Olson invoking his throng-yearning yet paternity clasp, delineating an essence contending oblivion whilst cherishing transitory ecstasies. Bruce's saga anthropomorphizes the competitor mold, not unassailable paragons, but beings traversing interior realms of uncertainty, remorse, and subdued conquests. His paladin sobriquet conjured a solitary sharpshooter, apt for one braving vitality's fiercest volleys unaccompanied, yet his inheritance imparts vulnerability's merit in a pursuit exacting impassivity. Disputes encircling Bruce chiefly arise from lore, perpetuated by hockey's histrionic myths, notably his cardiac ordeals. Folklore insists on 1972 ice demise or intra-game tumble. Verities refute. He concluded Vancouver griping subsequently, admitted in Oakland thereafter. His 1982 exit is misconstrued as amid old-timers, fray. It transpired domiciliary post-drill, culminating in hospital departure. These amplifications disregard intricacies, manifestation rejection, recreational insistence contra medical cautions, epoch's health vacuums, chroniclers' contest catalysts, leagues' taxing voyages, scant oversight, and pain perseverance ethos aggravated his innate affliction or hereditary inevitability. Balanced examinations portray a layered persona, valiant in stamina, sorrowful in neglect, inciting reassessment of toughness, exaltation, interrogating institutional shortcomings versus private selections. Contrasting outlooks. Some deem him league apathy's casualty, others vintage valor's incarnation. Augment strata, prompting esteem for Chronicle's unresolved facets, sans prejudice. Bruce's ramifications surpass individual lore, reshaping hockey's progression and wider societal musings. His 1972 assault illuminated competitor frailties in an unsupervised period, spurring incremental overhauls. By the 1980s, NHL instituted enhanced health measures, encompassing preseason assessments and arena defibrillators obliquely swayed by akin incidents. Societally, it illuminated coerced withdrawal's effective cost, estrangement, essence pursuit, psychic woes in a discardable vocation. In Canada, his yarn intertwines with proletarian epics of disregarded champions, echoing labor entitlements and welfare discourses. Presently, insights abide, esteem self-preservation amid ardor, attend corporeal alerts, equilibrate impetus with confines. His import resides in fortitude, recoiling from bands, flourishing as alternate to luminary, reclaiming after-career bliss amid tribulation. In luminary-shaded athletics, Bruce symbolizes unheralded guardians, whose yarns cultivate sympathy for veiled skirmishes, affirming inheritance in hushed steadfastness over accolades. Contemplating Bruce George Gamble discloses a being whose core, corporeal and emblematic, carved his course. From Port Arthur expanses to NHL barricades, he hunted visions with unbendable verve, yet remunerated exorbitantly for delicacy's disregard. His account compels zealous aspiration pursuit with perimeter deference, extracting contentment from modest junctures post-majestic wane. Bruce's recollection, etched in fame enclaves and soulful yarns, kindles benevolence toward obscured contentions, bestowing finale in comprehending vitality's erratic veers, proffer perennial sagacity.